So last night the Korean server got a little bit of an update, and something I wanted to quickly confirm was whether or not they fixed the duration increase effects on skills, because that got broken last patch for some reason. I also want to have a quick look at the rewards with the Archboss Guild event, because that's now properly active. Call to Arms, Tevent and Belandir. Looking at their patch details, they didn't really add much, and it was after the fact they had maintenance. But we can see down here they list some things, like skill duration increase effects not being applied. So thankfully the devs are aware and got down to fixing some things. Recent additions to our global known issues list also includes some wand curse skills are not affected by duration increases. But this is a larger issue outside of wand curses, so potentially the devs are just not aware, but they got so many reports that they felt they needed to list it here. But it does appear the Korean devs are at least aware that it's affecting, say, Greatsword as well. With Blood Devotion, it wasn't properly having its effect increased via the specialization. So that should be fixed with this patch, along with the issue where the healing amount with Da Vinci's was differing from the tooltip. With your weekly missions, they've changed the 230 point reward over to Fortitude coins. That makes sense. We see that here, it's not just all Fortitude coins. They're moving away from giving all the other ones, trying to phase them out. And then what looks like in the newer dungeon, Deathless Queen's Lair, they made some fixes where the ant's vitality was reduced upon larva mutation, fixed an issue where the species did not match when mutating form from a larvae to an ant, fixed an animation issue, and some more minor things here too. Then a codex fix, and on Nebula a boss range fix, so his laser will extend to the outer edges. So yes, thankfully skill duration effects will be getting fixed with this patch. Something I'm really curious about is if they remove the cap on Touch of Despair. This thing, if you weren't aware, used to be able to be uncapped, and then they capped it at 30 seconds, and then they capped it at 15 seconds, all with ninja patches where they never mentioned it in the patch notes, all because of Fury was getting a bit crazy, because you can see the added effect of Touch of Despair is that if you spam it enough, you can increase its duration. When you use a skill at 3 stacks, you increase the debuff duration by 2 seconds. So if you can cast this multiple times in 2 seconds, you can effectively extend its duration. I can't really show you this on the Korean server. My attack speed is way too slow with this server delay, but it'll be something interesting to check. But for now, 15 seconds seems about right with Touch of Despair, where the base duration is 9 seconds, plus another 3 through this specialization and another 3.3 through Wraith's Beacon. Other curses like Decaying Touch is back at 13 seconds, the 9 plus the 3.3 here. Although those of you not taking advantage of wand builds will be a little bit disgruntled if it's now all of a sudden getting buffed. Mainly because, yes, wand is already the most dominant damage weapon when you look at Invocator, Oracle, Fury, all top damage dealer classes that crutch on the wand's curses. The only alternative is Crucifix. It's a good alternative in terms of not needing even Archboss weapons to compete, but it just feels sad that all the other weapon combos, of which there are a ton, particularly melee weapon combos, have really fallen off in PvE damage, and the devs just don't seem to care. They've done nothing big for PvE balance in so long. They've just left this meta of get Tevent Wand or play Crucifix. So next, let's have a look at the guild raids, the Archboss Guild raids, Tevent and Queen Belandir. The rewards are actually a bit different to what we would have as normal arch bosses. These do indeed have now the new brooch, but only one brooch. So you might think we're getting the normal version of the Tevent boss here, which then doesn't have the ascended materials. And yeah, the top rewards are exactly like that with these armor pieces. However, along with the chance to get the Tevent Archboss weapons, you also have the chance to get your Ascended fragments, Tevent's Ashen Abyss fragments, and then with Queen Belandir, the Ashen Carapace. Unfortunately, there's still all this tier 2 junk in here, which is even more outdated now. So that will probably populate the most of your drops, with the measly chance that you'll get the tier 3 gear and your Archboss weapons, of which you're probably going to be wanting the Tevent Orb and the Tevent Wand. Checking the Korean prices, you may have seen them in a more recent video I made. Their sale price is massively lower than what we see on, say, the global servers. But that's just going to be due to the lack of population here, the lack of lucent in the economy. But you can see how Tevent Bow, Tevent Orb, they're about half the price of the Tevent Wand, which still remains the most expensive weapon, being at double the price of those. And Belandir, well, we all know those weapons really fell off, but Korean prices are cheaper than even a lot of traits. But yeah, they just aren't worth, and with probably tier 4 coming around the corner, Tico was saying, even though he's probably not part of the studio anymore, how they'll most likely phase out these Archboss weapons come tier 4 and tier 4 Archboss weapons. Tier 2 Archboss weapons should be okay, as they usually support the previous Archboss weapons, allowing you to upgrade them like we just had from tier 2 to tier 3. But who knows? There can always be some hope that they continue support with the older Archboss weapons. But it really depends. It could just be some Fortitude coin weapon that ends up better than Tevent. They would be a bit crazy to do that, but you never know. Quickly checking the shop, there is no new updates here. They still have the sale of those Sith skins. May the 4th be with you. So thanks all for watching. A very special thank you to the support of my channel members, and we'll see you guys around.